कैमरा बंद करेगा लगे
Yeah. And I can't really count the number of times we've been reporting from outside the Enforcement Directorate office here in Mumbai. You will see that, from across all the entrance and the exit points, you'll see on the left side and the right side here, you'll see a huge police, not just a police deployment, also, CFPF, the CFPF forces who are here. And behind me is Alisha, one of the topmost reporters here in Mumbai. Alisha has been tracking not just the case of Sanjay Raut, but this entire case for many, many years now. And she's tracked Nawab Malik, she's tracked Anil Deshmukh, and she's tracked all these cases when these leaders are brought to Enforcement Directorate, these leaders are brought to NCB. By the way, they're just a few blocks away. Let me go across to Alisha, joining us live on the broadcast right now. Alisha, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about the scam? Because Sanjay Raut and his entire, group of supporters, not many of them, when I was reporting here, about a few of them, about 10, 15 of them came here in a car, maybe tried to put up a show. But Alisha, take it away. Why don't you tell us about the facts of the case and what proof is available with the Enforcement Directorate and the agencies probing the case?
Well, Niranjan, we know that documents has already been seized by Enforcement Directorate while they were searching. There were 9 hours of searching that was conducted at the Sanjay Raut residence. While I'll ask my video journalist to show the visuals, what is happening around, because heavy police deployment that has been placed here, and also CRPF, they have been deployed, just looking into the, seriousness of the matter. While talking about the fact, we know that it is a case of, 2008. In 2008, where the MMRD, the Mahada, were given a complaint. The Mahada officials gave a complaint to the Economic Offence Wing of Mumbai Police. After which an FIR that was registered against Rakesh and, Sarang Vadhavan, and also an official, that is also Praveen Raut, who was Guru Ashish Construction Private Limited. But it is something a matter of 1 crore rupees, because what has really transpired during the course of investigation, that the matter is of 1,034 crore, after which ED entered it and registered a case and started looking into the matter. They have started the investigation. Now, what has really transpired, as I earlier mentioned, that while investigating, ED has arrested Praveen Raut, and during those investigations, they have come to know about the trial, because at the initial stage, there was a contract that was made. That was an agreement that was made between Mahada, Guru Ashish Construction Private Limited, where Guru Ashish Construction Private Limited took a money from HDIL, that was 100 crore, promising that they are going to make a flat. The flats will be given to around 672 tenants, where the Patra Chawl will go under the redevelopment. But that never happened. And with that money, that was diverted to, Praveen Raut, a close associate, and also some family members of Sanjay Raut. Now, why Sanjay Raut has been looking? Because 83 lakh rupees that was given to Sanjay Raut's wife, that is Varsha Raut, and that money has been used to buy the plot in Dadar, which today ED was even mentioned, and they were present in that location, and the several searches that was conducted today at Sanjay Raut residence, and which is why even Sanjay Raut has already questioned by Enforcement Directorate. We know there were in total 4 summons were given. At first summons, Sanjay Raut did not appear, clearly stating that there is a political crisis across Maharashtra, and being a senior leader of Shiv Sena, he has to be there and could not be able to appear before the agency. But the time Eknath Shinde became the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, took oath as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Sanjay Raut itself has tweeted clearly stating that he is going to appear before the ED, and he was grilled for around 10 hours and then let go. But there are some more of the other questions that need to be answered, which is why the fresh summons that was issued to Sanjay Raut. But again, an assumption letter, an assumption application that was given to ED by his legal team stating that he could not be able to appear before the ED, he could not join the probe just because it's a parliament session that has been ongoing, and he has to even campaign for the vice president election. But again, and he asked for that they could be, they can call him after 7th of August. But there comes the fourth summons that was issued by ED asking him to appear on 27 July. But again, an assumption letter made. But the time ED got to know that Sanjay Raut is in Mumbai at his residence, there comes a time where the 12 members,
the
12
Alisha,
ED officials who were present at the Sanjay Raut residence, they were...
Alisha.
Yes.
It's like, Alisha, I just want to ask you a question, irrespective of how many times, there was this fantastic sequence just before you came in, Alisha. There was a sequence when, Sanjay Raut came in and he was brought in from here. If my VJ Mukut can just show you, he was brought in from here, from that gate that you'll see on the other side. He was brought in there. It's now barricaded completely. He was brought in from there. And, it's fantastic. He's someone he's a media creation. He's a complete media creation. And he kept looking towards the side of the, he was on the left side of the car and I was on the right side. And then he kept waving towards the left side because perhaps his favorite media was there. And he kept waving at the media, trying to make himself look like a martyr. And I kept asking him the questions. I kept asking him the question whether he or his family or anybody got money, kickbacks, benefits out of this person called Praveen Raut. I kept asking him again and again and again, and he never once answered that question. And whoever was sitting on the right side of the car tried to sort of keep pushing the mic away, trying to sort of deflect. And then he just entered, and I tried my best to sort of push my mic into the frame. And he never once answered that question, never once. But once he entered this barricade here, once he entered the barricade, Alisha, let me tell you, he spoke to the media at least 4 times. He went to the other side, he came back this side, then he went to the middle, he came back, he ran like he did like 4 sprints, Alisha. He did 4 sprints, believe it or not. He ran to that side, ran to this side, ran to the other side, ran back to this side, and then went back in before the enforcement director took him in. He's a media creation. I mean, he's fantastic. I mean, this guy, he's being investigated. And he did this run, left to right, 4 sprints. But the fact is, the charges are very, very serious because we saw some very young officers. I don't know whether we have the pictures cut of these young officers who came to the ED office a few minutes back. They came in an SUV and they had a lot of documents in their hand and they went inside with the documents. And this is also backing up what Shawan, my colleague, said earlier, that the ED had access to a few documents and they were bringing these documents and there is enough proof against Sanjay Raut, is what we heard. Now, regarding the proof, regarding the documents, regarding the evidence, what do we know about specifically his family / his aide's role in the case? Alisha.
Well, yes, Niranjan, in all this case, because Praveen Raut, who took 100 crore from HDI, clearly mentioning that this money has been taken for the people, the poor people who were expecting a house, a flat in Patra, Chawl. People, they were like expecting in Goregaon, but that has never happened. But apart from this, what we have been told that 83 lakhs that was given to Varsha Raut, who is a wife of Sanjay Raut, and that is the money which comes under the radar, and it's a proceed, the money which was the proceed of crime that was used to buy a flat in Dadar. So that comes, Varsha Raut and of course the Sanjay Raut family, because there could be a politically motivated, because we know Sanjay Raut has been a very senior leader of Shiv Sena, and he's been itself has always portrayed himself as a very strong, powerful person. But that is something, the Praveen Raut could have taken advantage of, and that is where the information and the evidence that has come forward, the enforcement director, and which is why today Sanjay Raut is in the ED office. He's been questioned. This is not the first time, but this is the second time that he's been called. So, of course, there are some of of the questions that need to be answered by Sanjay Raut, because even if he was grilled for 10 hours, there are more questions that he need to be answered. And why? That is why the raids has been conducted. The time ED got to know that he is at his residence in Bandu, they reached at morning 7 and started, conducting searches. After conducting searches for 9 hours, ED took Sanjay Raut himself to the ED office, and now he's been grilled. Of course, there were the documents. We saw there was a piles of documents that has been brought in the ED office. So now those officials are going to grill him with those documents as well, because it's very important to know that it's been 14 years, but even after that, Sanjay Raut has all those documents that has been related to the case, and that has been now recovered, that has been seized by ED. Now he will be confronted with the documents to ask about, because it's not only about the 83 lakhs or the flat that has been purchased in Dadar, but also there are many other plots, there are other land as well, which is in Alibag in the name of Varsha Raut and Sapna Patkar, is what we have been told. So that is also under the scanner. Many of the assets we know in the month of April, around 11.15 crore property assets that has already been seized by, that has already been attached by enforcement directorate. But many more questions that has need to be answered by Sanjay Raut, and which is why after conducting 9 hours of searches, he's been brought to the ED office and the grilling has already been started. Yes.
Yeah. Just to give you a little bit of a background on what different political parties have been saying on this case, Sanjay Raut has been such a controversial figure since 2019 from a reporter's perspective. Just to tell all our viewers, Alicia, about Sanjay Raut, the extremely controversial character, political leader, now a parliamentarian. He's extremely controversial in the sense that at one point he positioned himself as the man who made the alliance happen between Shiv Sena and NCP and the Congress party. He took credit single-handedly for sort of breaking that alliance traditionally between the BJP and the Shiv Sena. So even now, when most of the Shiv Sena leaders have sort of left Uddhav Thackeray and they've joined Eknath Shinde, he still, of course, positions himself as the only leader who's with Uddhav Thackeray. And many people from the Shinde faction often tell the media, and in fact every news conference that they address, they are asked that one question, that Sanjay Raut has said something this morning. Because, Sanjay Raut is a media creation. I mean, every morning he gives a soundbite, he says something controversial, something sort of headline grabbing. Because he himself is a journalist. Let's not forget that. He was, I don't know whether he still is, Alicia, you'll be able to tell me that. He was the executive editor of Samna. I'm not sure he still is, because if I'm not wrong, Rashmi Thackeray, who's the wife of Uddhav Thackeray, I think is now the in charge of Samna editorial operations. But he's someone who loves media attention, he knows exactly what to do to get that media headline, to get that reaction, to get that response. And for the longest time, he's sort of taken credit for the alliance breaking apart. And now, when most of the leaders have jumped to the Shinde faction or have deserted Uddhav Thackeray, he takes credit single-handedly for whatever's left behind. And he continues to say that, he continues to play martyr. But I think we're getting in some more responses. Let me go across to Akash Pandurang, a BJP MLA, joining us on the phone line. Akash Pandurang, thank you for joining us here on Republic TV. This entire act, this martyr act that Sanjay Raut is, putting up at the Enforcement Directorate office behind me. Do you want to respond to that? Are the facts stronger than this, sort of card that they're trying to play now?
Actually, what is going is according to the law, and he must face it strongly if he's very clean. Now he's raising his Bhagwa Dupatta and all. This is all natak. जो जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी, and he has to face it. If he is clean, then no need to worry.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you there. But what are the facts of the case? Because a lot of people are also asking, this martyr act that he's doing, right? What are the facts of the case? In the middle of the thing is, he is trying to position himself as a martyr. His supporters are trying to, very few of them trying to position him as a martyr. What are the facts of the case and how serious are these charges?
No, actually, the charges are very serious. And if he is clean, there is no need to worry. But now the things are like they are making a picture that they are very kind and they had not done anything wrong. Then they must prove themselves that they are right.
Yeah, let's see where the story goes. Thank you for that, Pandurang. And we also have that sequence where I try to ask him a few questions, very specific questions on the facts of the case. I asked him whether he or his family got any benefits out of this entire Patra Chawl land scam. He refused to even look at our cameras. He was perhaps waving towards the friendly media. Here's what happened.